Hey, welcome back, all you history buffs. Welcome to yet another Mr. Yarber's World History Rundown. Today we're here to talk about a little time period known, yes, as the Protestant Reformation. Now first, let's start with this guy, Johann Gutenberg. Now think about it this way. Block printing had been invented by the Chinese and also the Korean way back in the day before this guy, Johann Gutenberg, takes three important concepts, three important factors, puts them together and makes it to where he creates this movable printing press. Now, the three key things that he puts together: first, the movable type; second, the printing press; and third, but not last but not least, ink. Now, Gutenberg's first book that he prints from this movable printing press is known as the Gutenberg Bible. Very important thing in this time period because we have some disagreements within the Catholic Church. First off, Pope Leo X, 1517, Pope Leo X authorizes the sale of indulgences. The purpose of it is to fix up St. Peter's Cathedral. Now, what an indulgence is whenever people give money to the Catholic Church in order to be forgiven for their sins. Not just themselves, but also their ancestors who are in purgatory. Now, this kind of frustrates a guy called Martin Luther. No, I'm not talking about Martin Luther King Jr. I'm talking about Martin Luther of the 1500s. 1517, Martin Luther posts these 95 theses, 95 complaints about the Catholic Church. Martin Luther believes that faith and faith alone should get a person to heaven, not the good works of people, not the sale of indulgences, not the forgiveness of sins. But faith and faith alone will get an individual to heaven. Now, this whole time period goes through where, Martin Luther's called to court. He's excommunicated. That's whenever he translates the Bible to the vernacular. The vernacular is the language that everyone speaks and reads at the time, giving people access to read the Bible firsthand. Now, this inspires a guy. The next guy that this inspires is known as John Calvin. John Calvin goes a little bit further than Martin Luther, though. John Calvin publishes his book, The Institutes of the Christian Religion, and in that he talks about how a concept known as predestination is there. Predestination meaning that all people are naturally born evil, and God predetermines who will go to heaven and hell. Now, there's a lot of different denominations of Christianity that are inspired because of these teachings. You have the Presbyterians of Scotland, you got the Huguenots of France, the Puritans of England. They all come from this type of theology, but the cycle continues to go. The Catholic Church continues to lose power. Remember, up to this point, the Catholic Church has a lot of power in Europe, but now they're losing it. Because you have these new people, these people that are protesting against the Catholic Church who developed the name Protestants. Now, the next person, King Henry VIII, different area. Okay, you got to cross the water to get to where King Henry VIII was of England. King Henry VIII wanted to divorce that first wife. He wanted a son. She didn't give it to him. He wanted a divorce. Pope says, no, you're not going to do that. So King Henry VIII says, okay, well then I'll create my own church. Then, not long after that, Parliament creates this thing called the Act of Supremacy, naming King Henry VIII the head of the Church of England. Now, King Henry VIII, what this does is it questions the power of the church, just like what Martin Luther did in the 95 Theses, questioning the power of the church and the Pope. King Henry VIII becomes the head of the Church of England. He rules, yes, we all know, divorced, married, divorced, beheaded, and died, divorced, beheaded, survived. He had 6 different wives, but at his death, there's a transition that takes place. His son dies at a young age. Queen Mary comes in, known as the name Bloody Mary, for trying to bring the Catholicism back to England after King Henry VIII had kicked it out. But on her death, Queen Elizabeth I becomes Queen of England. Another thing, she's appointed the head of the Church of England. Now, because she's appointed the head of the Church of England, what this does, it starts to bring some peace back to England, because what she does, she develops a compromise between the two. The compromise that, hey, it's okay to come in and be Catholic. It's okay to be Protestant. It's okay. So she allows this stuff to take place during this time period. Well, like I said, Catholic Church has lost a lot of members at this point. They say, you know what? We need to do something. So they form this society known as Jesuits. Jesuits first set up 3 major goals. They institute schools, make the schools better. They also set up a group that goes out to convert people that are not Christians. What this does is it slows the progress of the Protestant form of Christianity. It slows it. Then the Catholic Church comes together and holds this thing known as the Council of Trent. This time period is known as the Counter-Reformation. The Council of Trent looks at the problems, looks at the corruption that's taking place with the Catholic Church, agrees with some of it, although they don't come out outright and say, no, indulgences are not good, indulgences shouldn't be happening. They do eventually transform and kind of fix the problems, fix the issues that the corruption that they believe had taken place. That's your quick rundown of Mr. Yarber's World History class. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to look at my song put on there earlier. There's another Renaissance thing on there. Check it out. It's good talking to you. See you next time.